Good morning. Welcome to the regular council meeting for the Township of Minden Hills for Thursday, August 14th, 2025. In review of today's agenda, there will be a closed session meeting that will take place near the end of the meeting. Madam Clerk, please proceed with a roll call.
Counselor Sisson,
Present.
Counselor Saney,
Present.
Counselor McKelvey,
Present.
Counselor Johansson,
Present.
Counselor Ingram,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Shell,
Present.
Mayor Carter.
Present. We respectfully acknowledge that the Township of Minden Hills is located on Treaty 20 Michisagi territory and in the traditional territory of the Michisagi and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations, which are Curve Lake, Rama, Hiawatha, Alderville, Scugog Island, Beausoleil, and Georgina Island First Nations. We acknowledge the shared presence of Indigenous nations throughout the area and recognize its original Indigenous inhabitants as the stewards of its lands and waters since time immemorial. I call this meeting to order at 9:01 a.m. Madam Clerk, please read the resolution for the approval of the agenda.
Moved by Counselor Saney, seconded by Counselor Ingram. Be it resolved that the August 14th, 2025 regular council meeting agenda be approved as circulated.
All those in favor? That is carried. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we move to adoption of minutes from previous meetings. There's 3 public meetings and a regular council meeting. Members of council, any comments or amendments? Seeing none, please read the resolution.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Shell, seconded by Counselor McKelvey. Be it resolved that council approves the meeting minutes as follows: July 31st, 2025 regular council, and 3 sets of public meeting minutes for zoning bylaw amendment applications for July 31st, 2025, PLZBA 2025040, Halliburton Highlands Health Services, July 31st, 2025, PLZBA 2025045, 34 Bob Cajun Road, Huxtable, and June 12th, 2025, PLZBA 2025031, 1473 Bat Lake Road.
All those in favor? That is carried. Moving on to payments of accounts. Members of council, any comments or questions? Councilor McKelvey?
A couple of questions. We continue to pay Orkin Canada for rodent control at the Laughlin Community Center. I'm assuming we could stop doing that. Thank you. And through you, Mr. Mayor, I think I've confirmed with Ms. McGuigan that that contract has been canceled and they're coming to pick up any equipment they have as part of the decommissioning. Okay, thank you. We paid Aqua to do some water testing on Horseshoe Lake, and I'm just questioning why and wanting to make sure that the water and sewer users are not having to pay for that, plus the Irondale well disinfection. That's a general tax levy. Right. Mr. Mayor, I know our Director of Public Works is on his way. He has provided me a little bit of an update. I find myself in a little bit of a tough position. It's probably better if he can answer the question when he gets here, if that's okay.
Yeah, we'll
And
for him to come. Oh.
no, he is on his way.
Yes.
And the other thing, and maybe it's a question for Mr. Timmons as well, is the water and sewer bills. There was several of them for our own buildings. And I realize you have to use 1 cubic meter to actually do a bill, but it seemed like there was no actual proper meter reading. So I'm just wondering if there's a reason. I mean, our office had no reading, so there obviously we have some consumption here. So I'm just trying to figure out if there's a problem with the meter reading still. So I do have an update from not all Mr. Timmons and Ms. Taylor, who does our water billing. And it does appear that following the ice storm and the old meter reading, there's been an adjustment to some previous billing, is my understanding. Again, maybe Mr. Timmons can provide a little bit more clarity. So are we gonna wait till he comes? But what do you want to do?
When he arrives, we can get him to answer the questions. I think we can push on with the meeting and then come back to that. Can we do the resolution when he gets here? After he gets here?
We can lay it on the table and then come back to it,
Yeah.
but, is council comfortable passing the resolution? Without the questions addressed, or? Because I would rather just pass the resolution if there's no issue with the amount that was proposed here in the.
Councilor McKelvey?
So I'm fine with that. I
Yeah.
mean, we're not gonna pull these.
All right,
Yeah.
let's
But I want to be able to get these
Clarification.
things clarified.
Right. Yeah.
read the resolution, please.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Shell, seconded by Councillor McKelvey. Be it resolved that the accounts in the amount of $267,573.26 be approved for payment.
All those in favor? That is carried. Mayor's report. Although a little bit cooler this morning, it is still hot. And it is still incredibly dry throughout the township. As everybody should know, we have a total fire ban in Halliburton County. As everybody probably is aware, we have had fires in the area, most notably the one south of Kinmount around Burnt River. It's not something that happens all the time around here. It always has been noted that because of the types of trees that we have, they're not really conducive to spreading wildfires and forest fires. But I think that this year, because of the incredible dryness, things are particularly dangerous. So everybody needs to be extremely careful and recognize that it's not only fires that are started by campfires that have run amok, but also from cigarette butts or equipment that is being used. The spark that from hitting a rock is sometimes enough to start a fire. So let us all please be extremely careful. Again, with the heat, we have had a cooling center available in our arena that is still available. So people who need to cool down or to have some cool water, or to relax or to charge devices, whatever it may be, that is available to people. And please take advantage of that. Having said that, the summer proceeds. We've had some events, and I believe Councillor Johannesson, you wanted to mention something about the Rotary Fest this past weekend?
Thank you. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to the members of the Minden Rotary Club and the many volunteers whose hard work and dedication made Rotary Fest 2025 such a success. A special thank you goes to the organizing committee for your tireless efforts in planning and executing this year's event. We saw a fantastic turnout with people from across the community coming together to enjoy the festivities. The feedback from attendees has been overwhelming positive, especially regarding the family-friendly atmosphere and the wide variety of activities. The children's area was a standout hit, and the live music brought great energy to the celebration. Thank you to the firefighters, paramedics, staff, and a great community for the willingness to participate in the dunk tank. I have pictures. It was enjoyed by all. It's difficult to name everyone who contributed, and I don't want to leave anyone out. So please accept our heartfelt thanks to all who participated in some form. I also like to give a special shout out to the enthusiastic group of young lads from Kilcoo Camp. Their engagement, helpfulness, and spirit were truly outstanding. It is wonderful to see such community-minded youth in action. With continued effort and support, I'm confident Rotary Fest will keep growing and thriving for years to come. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you. as far as the mayor's report is concerned, next week are a couple of events. I believe it's the start of Pride Week here, and there's a flag raising ceremony on the Monday, I believe. And then also next week is the AMO conference. AMO is the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. The 444 municipalities gather together with the provincial government to work on topics of interest to all. And a number of us will be attending that. And that's really all I have to say from the mayor's report. Councillor Ingram.
Through you, just wondering if there's any updates on Triple HS and health services on the building that you're like as far as the water system goes and that, and some concerns they might be having?
Triple HS at this point is still awaiting approval of their master plan. And until they get approval from the government for their master plan, they can go forward with their planning as to what they can build and so on. So unfortunately, it's one of those hurry up and waits, and then as soon as they get approval, there'll be general panic as we try to rush everything through in the next week, but that's where it's at. I don't know if Triple HS will be at the AMO conference. It's usually a good chance to talk to the minister, but yeah, I have no other information on that. Roma board. No. Yes, Councillor McKelvey.
Just on that note though, like, do we have information to know what capacity they're gonna need if they got their?
None whatsoever, because they don't have their plan, together. Their master plan is for the number of units and so on, but
Right.
depending on what they get from the government, that may alter what it is they can build or so on.
Okay, I realize that, but do we not have information on what, based on what their master plan is, what the increase would be?
No,
Uh,
you,
Yeah, I would concur that there is nothing definitive. I do know that our staff are working with staff from Triple HS, and are trying to keep regular meetings going so that as soon as we get some detail, we can crunch some numbers and.
all right. Councillor Saini, Roma.
Yes, thank you through the chair. Our next Roma board meeting will be at the AMO conference on Sunday. And we have two delegations that will be meeting with the Minister Flack of Municipal Affairs. And that will probably be focusing on issues around the Code of Ethics and also funding for our municipalities. But we'll be fine tuning that at our board meeting. And we also have a delegation with the Minister of Health. I suspect they're very, very busy at the Minister of Health with delegations. Even us, we will be initially meeting with the Deputy Minister there. So it's going to be a very packed conference, and I'll be bringing back reports at that time. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to correspondence and communications. It was a consent agenda. There was no request from council to pull any of the correspondence. I was hoping we would have somebody who was interested in talking about our 175-page soil report, but I guess not. Please proceed with reading the resolution.
Moved by Councillor Hannison, seconded by Councillor Saini, that council receives the August 14th, 2025 correspondence and communication items 11.1 and 11.2 as information.
All those in favor? That is carried. And go to Mr. Gray and Building and Bylaw Services.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
What you have before you is report number 25020 from Building Bylaw Services regarding the short-term rental licensing dashboard. The County of Halliburton's IT department and the 4 member municipalities have been working collaboratively to create a map of sorts that would indicate on it where STRs are located within the member municipalities. So the municipality of Dysart and the Township of Algonquin Highlands currently both have live maps on their websites. Highlands East was just recently given council approval to go ahead and do the same with their aspect of it. So the reason for this is to give you some information about it and to seek your approvals to do the same with our STR mapping as well. There were some concerns that were brought forward by the public with regards to privacy and all that, and the sharing of information. As you can see in the report, all of that stuff was put to rest at with the legal challenge in Tiny Township. So that's all attached as well. I won't bore you with the details on that one aspect of it. But there is no concerns with MFIPA or anything of that kind in the bylaw 24105. Which is the bylaw that governs STRs and licensing of STRs here in Township of Minden Hills, clearly states in section 5.1 of that bylaw states that we have the ability to post that information on our website. So this is what the report's all about. Just looking for your approval on that, but happy to take some questions if you got them.
Just one question, what is on the Dysart and website right now? Is that basically what was developed by the county IT? And we're all gonna have the same type of same type of information on each one, or is this going to be at the county that is the one source for all of them, or how is that gonna work?
So through the mayor, so everybody's map will be the same. The only information that will be indicated on the map will be the STR license and the address of the property. That's all the information that's being put through. So the county will help us establish the map. And then at that point, we will be the ones, once we're trained on how to upload information to it, it will be kept in-house. But it is a basic county initiative that has been proposed to everybody else, and it's all the same, essentially. It's all run off our GIS map.
But it will be on the Minden Hills website as opposed to the county website.
That is correct.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councilor McKelvey?
But they will still need to put a sign up at their property according to our bylaw that requires the phone number for somebody to call if there's a problem. Like, that's not being bypassed by the map, right?
Through the mayor, absolutely. So the rules in place under the bylaw will remain in place. This is just an added piece of information for the, more so for the public, so they're aware, so they can, the traveling public can have a look and see if there's any, short-term rentals that are available. It's for people who are looking possibly to purchase in the area as well, and for our local residents to make sure that those short-term rentals are being operated, under the compliance with building code and fire code and under our bylaw.
Councilor McKelvey?
I know, I had a call from a lake association early in the short-term rental, wondering if they would be able to find out so that they could take information to them, that lake health and that sort of thing. So this will be very good for them. I just, if I may, one more.
Sure, go ahead.
I don't know if you can tell me this or not, but the application, have we recruited anybody to do the administration for the short-term rental?
So through the mayor, we have some candidates set aside. We are in the process of preparing interviews and recruitments for that piece.
Thank you.
Councilor Johansson?
I think this is great that the public is going to be able to access that. I did have somebody come to me and they have a neighbor that they're not sure if it's registered. If somebody wants to do a complaint, how do they go about that? And do they have to state their own name when they do the complaint?
So through the chair, the complaints can be done through our website, through the cloud permit portal. And yes, they will have to provide us with details as to who and what and where. We don't accept anonymous complaints.
Any other questions? Seeing none, please read the resolution.
Moved by Counselor Ingram, seconded by Counselor Sini, that council receives report 2020 building bylaw as information, and that council directs staff to publish the township short-term rental licensing webpage and the interactive GIS board.
All those in favor? That is carried.
Thank you.
Moving on to finance, as we are short a treasurer at this point, I think if there are any questions on the finance report, please give us the questions, and we may have to circle back to you with answers at a later date. But at this point, is somebody going to present the financial report at all, or?
Through the chair, just council, if you've reviewed the report, do you have any questions that you would like staff to address? And then we can coordinate those questions to the staff members and circle back with answers.
Councillor McKelvey?
This was brought up at the first quarterly report for cemetery wages and benefits, and it appeared that we just did one journal entry to charge out wages and benefits, which is not an accurate reflection of what it's really costing us at the cemetery or parks. Or I really, really want to see that changed, and I don't know if it's how much work it is to even go back and reallocate what's already happened, but we need to, at least on a go forward, have some assurances, because I thought I had assurances at the last first quarter review. I mean, it's not costing this much money to cut the grass at the cemetery, and it's not fair that the cemetery is paying for that. It's over in libraries, hall, and property. There's no wages being allocated there. And I know when Mr. Bedard was here, he would budget these amounts in one cost center, just so that he wasn't having to break out 25 different cost centers. But the actuals were actually allocated to the actual cost center that they worked at. And that hasn't happened this time, and I really want to see that changed.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, if I can address, I do recall the conversation, Councillor McKelvey, and we met as a senior leadership team yesterday and with our finance team. And that is our intention moving forward, is exactly what you've described. We're all struggling a little bit with exactly what you've identified, is how do we know what one of our transfer stations costs us, or cemeteries, that sort of thing. So we're putting a plan together to do exactly what you've described.
Any other questions? Councillor McKelvey?
There's a lot of questions on the revenues, strange kind of numbers showing up, but it's not just one. There's quite a few of them. So hopefully staff goes back and looks at this, like an example, penalties, interest, and other revenues for SG Nesbitt Arena was budgeted at, almost 50,000, and we've got 212 in there now. I'm thinking something's not right there. So we need to look at those. That's Parks and Rec has the same type of questions. Again, we're getting, like, finance department user fees has a lot more, and I know some of it's the tax registration, but I don't know that it's all of that. Again, we're getting the detail for water and sewer, but not the details for others. And there is a resolution on the books that says we're to get that monthly. I would hope we could at least get it quarterly.
I have that note. I have your concerns noted.
Any other questions?
So as far as my concerns about the detail, you note my concerns, but are we going to get it?
Yes.
Do we need it in a resolution again?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think if council can just give me a little bit of time to work with the staff, I need to understand what that entails at this given moment, but it would be our intention to provide you with more detail.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's read the resolution.
Moved by Counselor Ingram, seconded by Counselor Sandy, that report 2521 Q2 financial report, including year-to-date as of June 30th, 2025, be received as information.
All those in favor? That is carried. Administration?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and this is a follow-up to the recruitment policy rewrite. I was asked to include in the recruit for department heads indication that council would be involved in those recruits. I've made that change under the scope in bullet point number 2. So I had committed to bringing that back to council.
Questions? Counselor McKelvey?
So when it says department heads, I just need to understand, like directors, it's easy to understand, but like manager planning or managing of waste is that included in that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, no, not all of them. It is somebody who is the lead of a department.
I still have concerns that we're not involved in enough of these, and I have serious concerns that we're not being included in the recruitment of a CIO.
Any other questions? Let's read the resolution.
Move.
I just asked if there were any other questions or.
I would agree with what Councilor McKelvey just suggested.
Yeah, I think she suggested a couple of things. What in particular?
The CAO being hired by the mayor or by council. I mean, it could just be the semantics of that, how that reads to me.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that is the statement in, like, that's the law. It's either by if there's strong mayor powers, it's either by the mayor, or if that's been delegated back to council, then it's council.
And our mayor has delegated it to himself, then is that what?
I haven't delegated to myself.
Or
I
the
have
mayor?
not,
Sorry.
I have not, yeah, it's been delegated to the mayor. I have not delegated it to council at this time.
And if
If we were to look for a CAO, then I would make the decision at that point. Did you have something else?
No, all I was going to say, Mr. Mayor, is I've written this policy not just for today, it's for moving forward as well. So it's situational, I guess.
Councilor McKelvey?
In the absence of passing this, then the existing hiring policy, like as of yesterday, the existing hiring policy was to be followed.
Except the complication, I guess, council, is the mayor has delegated to me staffing matters. So I'm trying to have a policy that has enough in it, but gives enough flexibility that we can move forward.
Any other questions? Councilor Sandy?
Just to say, I'm comfortable with the way this is worded at this time. I mean, we do have the provincial legislation, which is guiding us and that we need to follow. So that's very clear. And I think the heads of department for a council member to be part of that hiring is one thing. But I don't think we should go down various layers of hiring other than just at the head of these particular departments. I think I'm quite comfortable with that. And then those heads of departments, if there's people further down the line, would also be responsible probably in the process for the hiring of who they're going to supervise. So I think that's a reasonable approach to our hiring policy at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Please read the resolution. Councilor McKelvey?
I'd like a recorded vote, please.
Moved by Counselor Sani, seconded by Counselor Johansson, that council receives report 2529, administration recruitment policy for information, and that council approves revoking policy 16, hiring of employees, and replacing with policy 141, recruitment. And further, that bylaw 2575 to adopt recruitment policy 141 be referred to the bylaw section of the agenda. As this is a recorded vote, I'll go around to each member of council and ask for or against. And we will start with Counselor Ingram. For or against?
Against.
Counselor Johansson, for or against?
Against.
Counselor Sani, for or against?
For?
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Oh, I'm sorry, Counselor yeah, sorry, Counselor McKelvey, for or against?
Against.
Okay, sorry, Counselor Sani again, for or against? My
For.
apologies. Thank you. Okay. Deputy Mayor Shell, for or against?
Against.
Counselor Sisson, for or against?
Against.
Try that. I'm not sure that your microphone worked. Did it work? Okay. Thank you. And Mayor Carter, for.
For.
So the resolution is defeated. There's 5 against and 2 for.
Okay. Deputy Clerk, you're going to speak to us about Rotary Club.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor and Council. Yes, we've received a request from the Rotary Club of Minden for a road toll on Saturday, August the 30th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is the second request we've received for 2025 for road tolls, so that's great. And this has been circulated to fire, OPP, roads, and community services, and no comments to date.
Are there any questions? Please read the resolution.
Moved by Counselor McKelvey, seconded by Counselor Sisson, that council receive report 2530, administration, Rotary Club of Minden road toll request as information, and that council approves the Rotary Club of Minden request to hold their road toll event on Saturday, August 30th, 2025, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the following locations: 69 Bobcaygeon Road and Water Street near Loggers Foot Bridge. And further, that prior to the event, the Rotary Club of Minden is to provide the township with a certificate of insurance, naming the corporation of the Township of Minden Hills as additional insured in the amount of $5 million.
All those in favor? That is carried. CAO, the Strategic Leadership Workshop.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a follow-up report to a council request for staff to investigate the potential for a strategic leadership workshop for council. Staff met with AMO representatives and the information is outlined in your report. It's the regular AMO content that would be offered if you registered individually, but we've put the package together assuming they would come and do a workshop for all of council. And we're just looking for council's direction, whether you want us to proceed further to schedule a workshop or not. Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Councillor Sisson?
Well, at this time, we only have 1 year left pretty much in our term. I think this would be better off maybe after a new council next year. That's my opinion.
Any other questions, comments? Councillor McKelvey?
I have to say, I was hoping the price would be better. You know, if you pay, can't remember what the registration was, $485. So if there was only gonna be a couple people take it from council, that would have been a lot cheaper than doing this. I had really hoped. you know, that a group package would have been a lot more financially favorable. So I'm a little concerned. We have a lot of balls in the air in the finance area right now. I'm just not sure that we want to spend that kind of money right now. And I have to say, Councillor Sisson has a good point. Maybe this is something that's part of the training for the new council.
Counselor Sani?
Yeah, I think it's a really critical time to have this, particularly because we're making policies and creating things that are going to be picked up by the new council. So with the experience here and then with some more of the guidelines, training and best practices, I think this is a really good time to have this particular workshop for us. There was always new workshops for incoming councils. This council had quite a few too, but it was before a lot of people had their feet on the ground. And so I think having this at this time is a very important and strategic idea to make sure that with the policies, the programs, the kinds of things that we're putting into place now will benefit the next council right off the top. Thank you.
Counselor Hennessy?
I think anything is beneficial for us, but do we have to do this as a group? Can we do it as individuals where we sign up individually? I also believe we're getting close to the end here for some of us, and who knows what's happening next term, but I don't know. I kind of feel on both sides. I think anything is beneficial, especially for me. But could we do it individually, like not have everybody do this? If they don't want.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, there's always the option for council members to sign up for workshops individually. I think the direction to staff a couple of meetings ago was to look at what would it look like if we had facilitators come in. So we're just providing you with the information.
Counselor McKelvey?
So yeah, we did actually ask staff to do this. I'm not denying that. I'm just a little shocked at the price. I was maybe being naive. It would be better, in my opinion, for these things to happen where there's one or two members of council sign up and we get thorough information back that's shared. So I don't know, just my thoughts.
Okay, well, let's read the resolution. And like we said, I mean, if it doesn't go through as something that we do together, we can still do it individually.
So through the chair, just for clarification, the resolution right now directs staff to proceed with organizing the workshop for council. So
That's
just
fine.
read it as is.
Yes.
Okay. Moved by Counselor Sani, seconded by Counselor Ingram, that council receives report 2531 admin, AMO Strategic Leadership Workshop is information, and that council directs staff to proceed with organizing the workshop for council.
All those in favor? That is defeated. Mr. Timmons, there were a few questions that came up earlier. And if you could join us, we can grill you.
Sorry, I got stuck on the wrong side of the Highway 35, so. Yeah.
All right, Councilor McKelvey, I believe they were mostly yours.
Thanks, Mike. There was a bill we paid to Aqua for some water testing at Horseshoe Lake. And also Irondale well disinfection. So two questions. First of all, the water testing at Horseshoe Lake, it's a beach and that's usually health unit. And secondly, I want to make sure that this bill isn't coded so that the water and sewer users in town are having to pay that.
Sure. So through the chair, what happened there was Aqua got a call through their call center and the details just simply said fecal matter in the water in Minden. That was the extent of the information they received. So they had a staff member come in to check the plans here in Minden. They did not respond to Horseshoe Lake. They just checked because there was a lack of information. That information came out later, that was a Horseshoe Lake thing, but we're downstream just to save decision. So that's why it was allocated to the water sewer, because I did feel that was the most appropriate place for that bill. The well disinfecting, now that we've made the decision to fully decommission that building, that has stopped and it's been canceled. Oh, sorry, I thought you said Lachlan. Sorry, did I? Okay. Yeah,
It says Irondale well disinfection, which is fine to have Aqua do that. However, I want to make sure it's charged to the cost center for the Irondale Hall and not
sorry.
the users of the water and sewer system.
Yeah, so through the chair, Irondale was billed through Irondale. The bill had two different codes on it.
Okay, thank you.
Just to clarify something you said, Councilor McKelvey, about the responsibility of the health unit about the beaches.
Yes.
I know that on Cache, where I live, we've had numerous complaints going to the health unit about, because we take coliform readings at the beaches, and the health unit refuses to be involved.
It's at a public beach, I think they,
Public beach,
interesting.
yes, it's a subject that we have raised with them on a number of occasions.
Could we ask for the staff to clarify in writing to the health unit, they're no longer testing our beaches, or?
Well,
I mean,
they
the
don't-
beach on Cache isn't ours, it's just a.
Well, we
it?
can ask staff to clarify with the health unit, but I just know that historically that's been what happens. Because,
Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, but they did post at Rotary Park all the time.
Yep.
That was a regular thing because it did close. I'm surprised it's actually not closed now.
So through the chair, so are the municipal beaches like Rotary, Bissett, and that the health unit does test those and they do the posting for those beaches.
are they, we have a number of other beaches though that are, less publicly central, like compared to Rotary or so. And there are a couple on Cache and a number in other places that people use, but do they test on all of them, or do they test on where we have a park or something like that?
Through the chair, so the ones that we have deemed as municipal beaches that we look after, that we put like the life saving out, so it is Rotary, Bissett. Those are the ones that the health unit confirms with me that those are what they're testing for the municipality.
Okay. Councilor McKelvey.
So the beach on Cache Wigmug Road, I assume that's the one you're talking about?
There's one there, yeah.
It's not really a township, well, it's not a township public beach, but can we not ask, like in writing to the health unit, that they test either there or test at our boat launch? I mean, our boat launch could be a beach of sorts, not really, but maybe. Can we not just ask them to do that if in fact they're not?
Sorry, Councilor Sisson.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see any harm in asking them to check our beaches. Like, we have numerous beaches, like you say, we have 2 on 12 Mile, or maybe more. One at Horseshoe, that's their job, or is there a health unit anymore? I don't know. You don't hear much about them, so.
I think right now with their merger, they are really confused, but yes, we can ask. Cache has for 20 plus years has been testing E. coli and coliform through the lake, because there used to be 30 lodges on Cache, and so the testing has continued, And, like at least 6 times a year. And whenever there was a note of high readings, we notify the health unit, but that, has not met with any response. So yes, we can ask.
The other concern would be the blue-green algae, like at this heat, it's gotta be bad this year, so.
Right now, there has not been a lot of reports. Again, blue-green algae is always present in all the water. It really comes down to whether there's a bloom. Okay, and the bloom usually is, I don't know, it's phosphorus is really the key. And so, when you have disturbing, the bottom of the lake is disturbed, that's when a lot of phosphorus is released. Or if you have bad septic systems, or you have agrochemicals going into the lakes with the lower water levels. I mean, the dilution of that is going to be not as great as it would be. So I know that with ULinks and the water testing program and some other things that we're doing on the lakes, where the CHA is also involved, we're taking a very close look at that. A lot of them happen usually in September, but like you said, we may start seeing them earlier. Everything is like a few weeks earlier, like leaves falling off of trees and things like that are going to be a few weeks earlier. But that's another argument that we've been having with the health unit regarding that. Because the thing is that there's one thing to see it, one thing to then determine if it's a bloom, and then that usually has to be done by somebody from MOE coming down and doing the testing, and they don't necessarily get there in, a day or two. So there's a lot of work to be done in that area. And it's, I think, particularly important to us, where the lakes are the center of attraction and for this whole community. So there are people who are working on that, but tough sledding. Councilor McKelvey, you had a couple of other questions, I believe.
The other thing, Mike, was the bills that we invoiced the township for our sewer usage. Second quarterly bill for a lot, if not all, of the Minden Hills facilities were just 1 cubic meter, which I know they need to put 1 cubic meter in to generate the invoice. But it's like the meter readings not working or something's not happening.
Yeah, thanks. I did clarify this with our AP, so this is a bit of a complicated one, so bear with me.
Okay.
So essentially, the short version is that there was an estimate during the ice storm. So this is a correction, what you're seeing now. So what has had to happen, the long version, is that they estimated 40 cubic meters per account during the ice storm. If over 2 quarters you didn't use 40 cubes, the next measurement on the reader, because we manually input, if say you used 40 cubes, say you used 18 cubes this year and 18, or last quarter, and 18 this quarter, you'd be at 36. But the meter is going to think you went all the way around, reset the odometer on your car, 999, 999, back to just shy of your number, right? Because we manually inputted 40. Now we're short, so the machine thinks we've gone all the way around. So there were some accounts we had to adjust. If you were on that bubble of near or just shy of that, we had to adjust that. The payment doesn't change because you're still in the minimum, but in order to put the machine back, it can't think it's a negative number, because it thinks it goes all the way around and then charges you like 1 million liters almost, right? So that's essentially the correction. That's what I got from our AP about having to add that to generate and fix it in some cases to bring it back around.
So are the regular users of the system in the same boat?
They would be theoretically in.
Oh, are you getting a lot of calls?
Not my department directly, but I would imagine they are addressing some calls, certainly. But that's just part of the cleanup from that storm, just one of those things where we had to do some manual inputs and now we need to make those adjustments.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Clear as mud.
Yeah.
Did you have another question? I can't recall. And that was it? Okay. Thank you. There was nothing to be read there. All right, we'll move into closed session. So please read the resolution.
Moved by Counselor McKelvey, seconded by Deputy Mayor Shell. Be it resolved that council proceed into closed session at 9:51 a.m. for the purpose of discussing the following. One item pursuant to section 239(2)B of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended regarding personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, performance matter. One item pursuant to section 239(2)E of the Municipal Act as amended regarding litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, litigation matter. And one item pursuant to section 239(2)D of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended regarding labor relations or employee negotiations, workload changes.
All those in favor? That is carried. We'll take a break. We'll go into closed session at 10:05. For those of you watching online, we will now move into closed session, and when we return, we will go through the bylaws and other administrative matters. Thank you very much. Carried. There's been some direction from closed session, but there's nothing to be read there. Go to bylaws.
Moved by Counselor Saney, seconded by Counselor. We didn't do a formal direction, but I can read the resolution if council wishes. There's no problem with that. Do you want to, we can read the resolution. There's no.
Sure, read the resolution.
Okay, there's no problem reading the resolution. Moved by Counselor Saney, seconded by Counselor Ingram. Be it resolved that direction given in closed session be approved.
All those in favor? That is carried. Bylaws.
Moved by Counselor Saney, seconded by Counselor Johansson. Be it resolved that the following bylaws be received, read a first time, considered read a second and third time, and finally passed with the corporate seal affixed. Bylaw 2575 to adopt policy. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to remove that one, Council. My apologies. Bylaw 2578, non-bargaining unit employees remuneration benefits. Bylaw 2579 to appoint a treasurer, and bylaw 2588 to appoint an interim deputy treasurer.
All those in favor? That is carried. Confirming bylaw.
Moved by Counselor McKelvey, seconded by Counselor Sisson, that bylaw 2580 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council held during its meeting of August 14th, 2025, be received, read a first time, considered read a second and third time, and finally passed with the corporate seal affixed.
All those in favor? That is carried. Adjournment.
Moved by Counselor Sisson, seconded by Counselor McKelvey, be it resolved that the August 14th, 2025 regular council meeting is hereby adjourned at 11:16 a.m.
All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, everyone. Next meeting is a special meeting of council scheduled for Thursday, August 21st. This will be held mostly in closed session as an education and training for the Asset Management Plan Workshop. The next regular council meeting is on Thursday, August 28th, 2025. Enjoy your summer. Stay safe.